This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
All right, everybody. It's that time. It's a very special edition of the show as we are going to dive deep into the Money in the Bank event that took place last night. I know I'm getting this out a little later than normal, a little later than I'd like to, but hey, life calls, and I had a fun time. I am now sitting here with a large water in front of me. I think that should put the pieces of the puzzle together for you, but I'm going to do the best I can, guys. Do the best I can to cover this event, which, my God, if you can't come away with much to talk about this event, you weren't paying attention. Oh my God. And you know what? This pay-per-view, this premium live event, whatever we're calling them now, is just one of a long line now of consistent events that we come away saying to ourselves, that was so damn good. It was so much better than the build for the event. WWE right now is in this, I don't know, I'm not even going to call it a rut. I'm just going to call it a pattern of not doing really stellar work when it comes to giving us a really good pump up for the show and really fleshing out the storylines. Everything's at a boiling point. They haven't done a great job of that as of late. But my God, when you come away from the event, you forget all of that. You forget about the fact that some of the builds may have been a little bit lackluster, and you come away going, whoa. And this is another one of those events. I honestly don't know where to start. There's so much that happened. Returns, heel turns, / babyface turns. Let me just kind of just pick out of a hat here. I'll start with LA Knight. I'm going to start there. And if you're worried that WWE doesn't know that LA Knight is over, that's just not the case. If you're out there thinking, oh my God, why didn't LA Knight win? Well, here's why. First of all, if you listen to Triple H in the press conference after the event, he said and acknowledged that Knight was a massively heavy favorite to win the match, and rightfully so. All of us thought he was going to win, including me. He was my pick. And that he said, but, good things come to those that wait. And that's very true. I'm really not concerned right now about LA Knight's future. I'm really not. The key now is, from our perspective as fans, is we need to continue to support him. And in fact, this may work with him instead of against him, because the more it seems as if the system isn't with him, the more the fans try to get with him and support him and be louder for him so that the system hears, right? Well, I think that's actually the smarter approach. As much as I wanted LA Knight to win and I thought he would win, it makes maybe a little more sense. Of course, the thing is, we're blind to what they want to do with him now. They're blind. We as fans don't know what that other plan is. Is it the Rumble? Is it him winning a tournament in a month to face Roman Reigns? I mean, we don't know. Many of us have speculated he's going to go the road of facing Austin Theory and winning the United States title, which makes total sense to me. If you want to make that a pit stop on the way to the world title, is he going to be the one to beat Roman Reigns? Right now, I'd say no, but if LA Knight catches fire to the point where he's undeniable and it's a consistent, just thunderous ovation for him on a weekly basis and not just one-offs, then you can make the case. But we're a little bit far away from that right now. Right now, my thinking for LA Knight is, yeah, he lost. Damian Priest won, and we'll get to that too. But I think LA Knight is in just a fine position. I'm not worried about it at all. I'm really not. Especially with the post-conference or the post event press conference with Triple H basically acknowledging, hey, there's more than one way to get this done. And winning is actually, by the way, Triple H didn't say this is my own words, that winning that Money in the Bank briefcase is usually tailor-made for a heel. Now, would you want LA Knight to just be shot to the top and get an opportunity and take advantage of a downed champion to win? No, you don't. And clearly the plan that you have for LA Knight, that they had for LA Knight, was not derailed by the recent explosion for LA Knight, that they just forged ahead, and I respect that. They forged ahead and said, guys, we'll get to LA Knight. We're moving forward with our plans with Damian Priest winning. Now, what does it mean for Damian Priest winning? I mean, there's clearly tension with Finn and Damian. That occurred during the match with Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. And it was my prediction that something like that would happen. And it did. And clearly we're headed to Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. But there's no title on the line here. Even though he's Mr. Money in the Bank, there's no title on the line. But that's okay. I don't think there needs to be right now. And I think that'll immediately turn Finn Balor babyface and turn keep Damian Priest a heel. So that's what's coming in the near future. Now, who he's going to cash in on? Probably Seth Rollins, probably later in the year, maybe even towards WrestleMania. I mean, I could see Damian Priest holding this briefcase for a while. And the reason is Seth just became champion a month ago. Why would you cut this short with not only doubling down on heel champions, but going back to the heel champion dynamic, which we've been dealing with on SmackDown for 3 years now? Seth is supposed to be the anti-Roman. For all the criticisms that I give Seth and the way that they treat the championship and how ridiculous that you have a champion that'll allow anyone to fight for the belt, which honestly, it's almost like he's allowing anyone to have a Money in the Bank briefcase. It's almost figuratively like that. The way that Seth Rollins and management and creative have presented the world title, it's almost like everyone backstage has a Money in the Bank briefcase that they can cash in at any time. Why? He said he'll fight anyone at any time, anywhere, ever, right? So you don't need to qualify. You don't need to earn anything. You just come out and challenge him anytime, and he'll allow you to fight him for the belt. So really, does Damian even need to have the physical manifestation of said briefcase or said opportunity? No, not really, right? When you think about it, the way that they've presented it, everyone's got a Money in the Bank briefcase. Everyone, every man back there does. Anyway, but I think Priest is going to wait a while to cash in on Rollins, which I would imagine that's the person he's cashing in on. Although, in his post-match interview, he did mention that, am I going to go after the Intercontinental title? And by the way, are we calling the Intercontinental title the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship? That's like the second or third week in a row I've heard that. Why? There's no other version of the championship that exists, and I don't think there's a weight requirement for it. So do they think it sounds more important to add heavyweight to it? The title situation is just so wonky between the fact that the number of titles don't match up with the physical belts that are being represented, and that's been going on for a while. For some of the belts, they're unified. For other belts, they're not. It's just bizarre. It's so there's just no. I don't know. I won't go on that tangent. But that said, I think Seth is going to be champion for a while. They want to establish that anti-Roman feeling. Wow, we actually have a champion now that's defending it a lot. It's not what Roman does and all that. So anyway, the match itself, by the way. Oh my God. I was watching it driving home this morning, feeling a little under the weather. I had a 2.5 hour drive this morning back home. And I was watching it in my car, as irresponsible as that was, I know. But I was watching as best I could in and out of cell service. And, I saw the Logan Paul moment, and I said, I literally, my jaw, I go, oh my God. That looked so dangerous, brutal. I mean, everyone in the match deserves an absolute standing ovation. It was a such a good match. I have no complaints from a physical standpoint. The dynamic of how the match went. Obviously, the support for LA Knight was off the charts, as expected. Logan Paul, the ultimate heel of the entire matchup. But the bumps he took are what we expected him to take. He added to the match. No question about it, he added to the match. So, that bump he took, though, off the ring ropes, through the tables, he nearly paralyzed himself. I mean, let's just be straight. He nearly snapped his neck and was in a wheelchair the rest of his life. I mean, that's how close he came. I don't care how tough he is. I don't care how strong he thinks he is. I mean, those are the risks I don't need anyone to take. And not that I'm the ultimate authority or that I'm, sitting on this high and mighty throne. But as a fan, I don't need to see that. I don't need anyone, even if I don't like them on a personal level, outside of the ring, whatever. I don't need to see that. Those are the moments that take you out of the moment because they're so extreme. Where, and I'm sure it wasn't designed to be him dropped on his head through the table, which I've never seen that before. But I just don't need those moments where that could happen. I mean, I know everyone's always trying to up themselves, up their last match, up this, up the ante. I don't need to see it. And it's that was scary. So that moment was pretty insane. The physicality throughout the entire match, of course, was just unbelievably brutal. A lot of this is awesome chants. There was a Michinoku driver that was, I don't know if it was botched or no, it was the Falcon Arrow that was botched, not the that was by Priest, I believe, on LA Knight, and just absolutely insane. I mean, most of this match was everyone holding their collective breath in hopes that no one injures themselves. The crowd was just, what can we say? I'm sure WWE doesn't ever want to come back to the United States. I mean, they just want to live overseas in Puerto Rico and, Saudi Arabia and London. Hell with the United States. I mean, they again, it's embarrassing when you compare them. Now, part of that is they're always in the United States. You become complacent as a fan. The energy level isn't as high as it could be, as like where London, and they haven't been there in 20 years for a pay-per-view. That kind of stuff does build a certain excitement for that event. But man, they put us to shame. So congrats to the crowd. And I've got an email too with somebody who attended in person. So I'm going to, let's see here. I want to make sure I get to that email here. I know this is not the mailbag, I understand, but I can't not talk about it. So this is from Joe Owen, who attended. And here's what he said. He wrote in to me, and I appreciate it. He said, "Hey, Matt, I just started a 4-hour drive back from London, where I've just attended SmackDown and Money in the Bank. What a weekend. SmackDown on Friday was good, although Charlotte and Asuka, that match didn't hit great, with a lot of botches clearly visible in the live experience. The crowd was hot, but nothing compared to the pay-per-view on Saturday. Me and my partner dressed up as DX and headed to the O2 Arena, where we drank cocktail Usi juice and other gimmick cocktails at the Slug and Lettuce Bar, where WWE music played all day for the fans who were there. The event itself was off to a hot start with the men's Money in the Bank, where LA Knight, was a heavy fan favorite, with his catchphrase being heard every few seconds throughout the whole weekend. The John Cena surprise was incredible. I'm not huge on Cena, but in that moment I couldn't help but scream the place down and show him my respect. It was great to see Io win, and the British chants are always the best, especially the Hey Bailey one. The main event was yet an incredible atmosphere, great match that anyone in attendance couldn't take their eyes off of. I just want to say how proud I was to be part of that event and crowd, and the energy in the arena never dropped from start to finish. And I hope and pray that Mania comes to the UK like Cena teased. Time to get home now and rewatch with commentary and listen to the UK crowd smashing it out of the park." And I see a picture of you and and your partner dressed as DX. Good stuff. So you're Triple H, and Your partner is Shawn Michaels. Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you for the in-person report. I mean, I'm, again, very jealous that anyone in attendance, to feel that energy, to feel that live crowd in a capacity that you did, that's a sustained energy. That's the hard part, right? Typically, the crowd is the most fresh at the beginning, and then it fades towards the, as the show goes on, naturally. But you guys just kept going. And I felt for a lot of the wrestlers that came out after a bust-ass match, like the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, I'm like, oh, man, like I feel bad whoever's going to follow this. Or when Cena came out, I'm like, oh, man, I feel bad whoever's going to follow this. They're not going to get any kind of reaction at all. But you guys kept it going. And props to you guys. You guys killed it. Absolutely killed it. I'll get to the Cena thing next, because now that you got me on the whole Cena debacle. Well, I shouldn't say debacle. Weird, but also surprising and fun segment. So I'll get to that in a minute. But finishing up the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, credit to Butch. Credit to Butch, who had a showing more than I thought he would. He was kind of he was the total afterthought in this match. Same with Santos Escobar. Both of them obviously had no chance, but had nice showings. And just overall, good Lord, or to quote Jim Ross, good God Almighty. An amazing matchup. All right, so let's talk, before we get to the women's tag titles, which I'll get to next. I want to talk about John Cena. Yes, absolutely a surprise. Nobody predicted John Cena to be there. And it was cool to see him, because here's the thing with fans. We now know his time is limited. And I'm sure he has a few matches left in him over the next several years until he officially hangs it up against whoever. But it's cool to still see him and to realize that, hey, time is very rare with this man now. And as we get closer to the end of him being in-ring, and an in-ring competition, in-ring competitor at all, we're going to appreciate him, show our appreciation, from 2002 till 2023. He's had a hell of a run. Now, of course, he hung up the boots in a full-time capacity many years ago. Well, several years ago. So, but he's been in and out and doing a lot of promotion for the company, and, has been very prominent in Hollywood. So for him to come out here and do what he did was still cool. That said, and the pop was crazy. That may have been the pop of the night. May have been. Because there was other things, other returns too. But let me just talk about the content of his promo. So he's out here to, let me get this straight, right? So what we're supposed to take out of this, and I'm not trying to diminish this segment, because it was memorable and it was loud and it was very impassioned by the fans. And you guys, the fans really made this part. I mean, the fans, you guys in the UK and London did kill it here. But let me get this straight. So John Cena, who's scheduled on the show by management, comes out to tell management that they need to bring WrestleMania to the UK. It's kind of weird, right? A little meta going on here. A little like fourth wall breaking, where John Cena, who's signed to the company in some kind of, I'm sure, the Legends contract, right, is a part of the creative for the night, but it's also telling management to bring WrestleMania to London. It's a little weird, but he's acting like he's the voice of the voiceless. No, everyone knows London needs WrestleMania, of course. I mean, they deserve it. The crowd obviously has shown what they can do and what they will be. And I don't have a problem with it at all. But for John Cena to start being Mr. Rah-Rah, that has always been my least favorite version of him, when he's just so pandering and just... But again, one of the biggest stars WWE's ever produced, and he knows how to work a crowd. Credit to him. It's just not my flavor of John Cena I like. Now, then Grayson Waller comes out right after John Cena's mentioned WrestleMania to the UK and saying, this is the passion we need. But then Grayson Waller comes around and he's talking about how it's so cutting edge to cheer people they should boo and boo people they should cheer. No one said it's cutting edge, Grayson. Okay. Like, I mean, I know that was supposed to be the joke. That's actually not what London does, by the way. Okay. And I truly don't believe fans as a whole, a collective, that we just do it for fun. I've been very against the whole narrative that the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania crowd and Canada as a whole, and anytime they go to Chicago or New York or a big market or now London or anywhere overseas, that's Bizarro World. And they just do the opposite of what they're told to do because they're being rebellious. No. You think people are going there just to give a reaction they don't truly feel? What? No. This is your audience that has kept you afloat, by the way, over the last, 20 years since the Attitude Era has been dead and gone, and, the stars of yesteryear are no longer here. This is the audience that you're talking down to about being cutting edge. I mean, I don't know. And this isn't really against Grayson Waller. It's more of just the narrative of the announcers every year trying to talk away reactions that they don't approve of beforehand. They're almost like disapproving of it before it happens. I mean, I can't how many times we've heard that, right? Okay, I'm going on a tirade. I've made my point. Grayson Waller eventually, disrespects John Cena enough, attacks him, and then John Cena hits an AA and goes down because he was advocating for WrestleMania to come to somewhere better, somewhere warmer, somewhere, somewhere like, hey, his home country of Australia. And the crowd booed vehemently, and there were a lot of F him up chants. I think there were F him up chants, and a lot of chants I honestly don't understand. I don't know if it's the accent in London. There's a lot of chants that I know you guys do for sports teams and things. What is the whoa am I just, is that is that soccer? I don't know, but it's all the time, and I never know where it comes from. And then you guys chanted a lot of stuff that I couldn't make out. And again, it might be the accent as 18,000 people, or like somebody with an accent magnified by 18,000. I was like, what? I'm not sure what you guys are saying. So I feel like I needed subtitles for some of the chants, but I still loved how loud you guys were. It was awesome. So the John Cena thing, yes, we know WrestleMania is coming to London, probably WrestleMania 41. If they told us without telling us that WrestleMania is coming to London, then it's probably going to be WrestleMania 41. Because this year obviously is locked up with Philadelphia WrestleMania 40. So I guess we could pencil in WrestleMania 41 in London. That'll be awesome. No doubt. All right. So the Women's Tag Team Championship. This was bizarre, man. I mean, the match itself was okay, but that's not what people are talking about, right? What people are talking about is the turn here. Now, the match was fine, as it progressed naturally, and it ended in 9 minutes, though. It was only 9 minutes on a pay-per-view, which is really short for a pay-per-view. But Baszler turned her back on Rousey, and Liv was shocked. Everyone was shocked, including everyone in the audience and at home. So this immediately turns Shayna, or keeps Shayna heel, and I would imagine is a babyface turn for Ronda, getting her out of this division, making her a single star again. And I'm fine with that. I don't think she fits the tag team scene very well, but this feud with Shayna should be fun. People have been talking about this for a long time and speculating about it for a long time. So I give WWE credit for striking when no one expected it. No one was thinking about it. Okay, they're just tag champions. And it was also a weird spot in the match that had happened. It was just kind of like randomly in the middle. It wasn't at a climactic point or at a turning point in the match. It was just kind of like, just pick a random part of the match, and that's where it happened. And that made it all the more kind of unexpected and again, made you want to see this happen. So cool. We now have new tag team champions, by the way, after Ronda Rousey was pinned, getting hit with 2 finishes, and also nearly breaking her neck on Oblivion by Liv Morgan. Oh my God. Oof. I mean, that was, go back and watch that. Ronda Rousey spiking her head directly on top of the mat. Dang, guys. Oof. All right. Matt Riddle, Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, the interesting stat that they keep talking about it on with this particular run that Gunther's on is that he is the longest running Intercontinental Champion of this century. Now, this century is since 2000. All right. Not over the last 100 years. So you need to be very careful of how they're phrasing this. This is just in the last century. You know what I mean? Meaning starting in 2000, because that's when the century started again. So really, he's the longest running champion in the last 23 years. But I know what they're doing. It's a little fun play on words. So only 2 people. Was it the Honky Tonk Man? And I can't remember the other person that has held the Intercontinental Championship longer. I would expect Gunther to surpass whoever is in this rarefied air. Gunther's a special talent. The crowd seemed to be on his side. Matt Riddle he didn't get booed. It didn't seem like he got booed. This match didn't feel as long as it should have either, by the way, 7 minutes and 45 seconds. And I don't think they got enough time, but it did what it needed to do. It was physical as expected. And it also introduced a new finish for Gunther. That's what I liked. It was a finish, I believe it was a heel hook that had Riddle tap. So that was very unexpected, but it also was nice to see him expand his arsenal. Now, this is also not what we're going to be talking about, because the after-match antics is really what is the talking point, and that is Drew McIntyre returning. Massive pop. I mean, it was deafening. And also, apparently there were no issues with McIntyre and creative and their cash, and he's leaving the company. Michael Cole even talked about how the demise of Drew McIntyre in WWE is, is clearly not happening. I don't know, something like that. And then Triple H, even in the press conference after, said that if Drew had a problem, that that's news to me, and he was simply out with injury and got a couple of nagging injuries fixed. So I'll take Triple H at face value, and if that's the case, guys, that just tells you, even in this world of just ultra information sharing and everything's done at lightning speed and everyone knows everything about wrestling, we don't. So I don't know where those rumors came, and I fell for them too. Whether they were supposed to be deceiving or they were meant for actual news or whatever. I believe that there was a problem with McIntyre in WWE, but apparently that's not the case. So he was just out with injury, getting himself physically fixed. But McIntyre confronting Gunther was fun, and he eventually did get the Claymore on Gunther, and then stood there holding up the Intercontinental Championship. Now, I did just say that I think Gunther will beat all records and be the number 1 longest running IC champion of all time. But Drew McIntyre, a returning Drew McIntyre, it scares me that he could end Gunther's run. That does scare me. Now, I like Drew McIntyre. I respect his work. He is just a kind of a throwback wrestler. He always puts on good matches. He's just solid promo. He is a guy you want on your team. No doubt about it. But the problem is you've got also one of the best runs in the Intercontinental Championship's history. And you're close to having Gunther be the number 1 guy of all time. It's a tough call. And we'll have to see how that plays out towards SummerSlam, because I think this is the first time that Gunther is going to have his championship truly up for grabs. And I think most fans are not going to look at the SummerSlam match, presumed SummerSlam match with McIntyre, and say, yeah, it's definitely going to be Gunther who retains. You know, it'll be a good match, but Gunther retains. We've said that for a long time now. Same with Roman's matches. And this is the first time that we can say, I don't know, right? So we'll see how it all plays out over the coming weeks, because I think SummerSlam is in 5 weeks. 5 weeks from Ford Field in Detroit. So back to the United States, back to embarrassing crowd reactions. I guess comparatively, right? Comparatively. All right, let's keep going here. And we've got Cody Rhodes and Dominic Mysterio. Again, this match, most of us predicted that we'd have Brock Lesnar interfere. And there was no Brock to be found. None. Even the reports that I tweeted out that were being run around the mill turned out to be false, or they changed. Brock was nowhere to be found. And I'm not disappointed about that, because we all know Brock is going to be facing Cody at SummerSlam, no question. It's just we all thought it was going to be in this match to screw Cody, and it didn't happen. This was pretty much a matter-of-fact win for Cody. The biggest story here for me was Rhea Ripley's hair. I mean, damn, girl. I mean, she wears it well. She's just, she's so unique. And, excuse me, her hair was, I don't know, the story. It was very distracting to me, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It was badass. So, her hair was good, but the match, it was smooth, right? Like, there was nothing wrong with the match from a physical standpoint. We had Dom do his, what he should have done. Cody hits the Cody Cutter. Rhea tried to help, as she always does, and create a distraction. Dom got Cody against the ropes. He went for a 619. Cody blocked it. Cody got Dom up and spun around repeatedly and hit the Alabama Slam, and then hit the Cody Cutter and Crossroads. And 1, 2, 3. And that's it. No Brock Lesnar. And, again, I'm split on this, because I don't know if WWE didn't put Brock in this segment, in this part of the match, because they didn't want it to be predictable, because everyone was predicting it was going to happen. But just because if everyone knows it's going to happen, doesn't mean you can't still do it if it's the awesome thing to do. Doesn't mean everyone still doesn't want to see it. So, and plus, do you really want Dominic to start losing matches? Part of what makes him such a great heel is he continues to squeak things out. Not that this really hurts Dom, because the moment he puts that microphone up to his lips, he's going to get booed out of the building, and it's going to be, it's going to be like nothing happened. It's going to be like no one ever beat him, because Dom is that much of a heel that, the crowd genuinely hates him that much that I don't think there's any amount of abuse that he could take that would be satisfying enough for the fans. So, but at the same time, it would be fun to see Dom continue to slide by. And having Brock cost Cody achieves a lot of things at once. Cody loses because of Brock. Brock brutalizes Cody, answers his open challenge. You get the SummerSlam match. Then you have Dom retain, or win the match, rather. I mean, you kind of kill 3 birds in one stone here, and they decided not to. Again, it's not a bad decision. It's just kind of disappointing that Brock wasn't a part of this. So, all right. I know a lot of people are disappointed about no Brock, but he'll come probably Monday night, maybe even tomorrow night. He could still be in London. It's possible. All right. So, let's go here. We've got Zelina Vega, Becky Lynch, Zoe Stark, Bayley, Io Sky, Trish in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I think this match started out slow, a bit discombobulated. The crowd was coming off of a John Cena return, but you guys continued to hold it together somehow. Most crowds would have been zapped of energy. You guys just somehow had an unlimited supply. And all these women also did such a good job. And Trish taking bumps she has no need to take on the ladder. The ladders didn't want to break last night. My God, some of the things that Ricochet did in the men's, that Trish did on here, taking bumps. I mean, Trish is, in her 40s. She doesn't need to be doing this stuff. Credit to her, though. But man, I believe she even got a cut on her face, or somebody did. It might have been, I don't know if it was Trish. But so this match I thought was good, really good. Was it the best women's ladder match I've ever seen? I don't know. The crowd makes a lot of things better, and the crowd can deodorize a lot of bad booking. But I think overall this achieved what it needed to. It continued to fray the relationship between Bayley and Io, which is, I don't want to say it's all but dead, but it's pretty damn close. It continued to also put Becky Lynch in chase mode for the championship, and she'll get there. She will get there. We just had Io Sky, I've never seen that before, creatively handcuff Becky and Zoe. Was it Zoe Stark? I think it was. Becky and Zoe Stark together. So underneath the ladder, they couldn't get up, and they couldn't stop Io Sky from climbing the ladder and grabbing the belt or grabbing the title. Now, Bayley did, in fact, cost Io at one point the match by tossing her off. But eventually we did get a win from Io in an 18-minute match. Really long match here. I could do without, I'm a big Zelina Vega fan. You guys know that. And she had a hell of a showing, and she was also a favorite, not the favorite, but one of. And she showed herself to be a proven commodity, by the way. And I think Zelina Vega is in the best spot of her career despite not winning here. She is being viewed as not just kind of the extras of the match. I mean, many people chose her to win. And that says something. But here's what I will say. I don't understand. I shouldn't say I don't understand. Why do we need to see the flip-flop? And why do we need to see anyone selling it, by the way? It worked in Puerto Rico because of the meaning it has for Latinos, I guess, Latino families or grandmothers or whatever. When you see it done here and then you have wrestlers almost kind of half selling it, it's like, this is weird. Okay, I don't know. She's trying to make it a thing. I don't think she realizes we're not in Puerto Rico anymore. And most people are going, huh? This thing again? It's weird. It doesn't do anything. It's the most soft object. You might as well just be using a pillow, right? I mean, seriously, someone take one of those like Old Navy flip-flops and hit yourself. It's not going to exactly, put you down for the count. Okay. I know it's more about the meaning behind it, but no one gives a damn about the meaning behind it. Just win the match. I know what she's trying to do. I appreciate the effort, but we're not in Puerto Rico anymore. All right. Lynch did not win, though. Again, as I said, she will eventually face Rhea Ripley, and maybe she even does at SummerSlam. Again, this is not the end of the road for a lot of people that didn't win this. This is, in fact, just the start for some. And for Becky Lynch's ride back to the championship, it could have started last night. And she could end up facing Rhea for the belt at SummerSlam. I think that's a real possibility. So, all right. Then we got Rollins and Balor. This match was 12 minutes. And I have to say, I wasn't super crazy about this match in terms of, I think a lot of us made this match unfairly high of a standard. The standard for this match, the bar for this match, was ridiculously high, unfairly high. And I knew you always know you're going to get a good match to great match with Finn and Seth, but sometimes they have an off night. And do I think this was an off night? No, but it wasn't their best night. I didn't think. And this was about Damian Priest's unintentional, apparently, interference that costs Finn that 1 second of a distraction and allowed Seth to get the victory. But the taped up ribs that they were talking about did help, and I was hoping that they would do something, because on Raw, after Seth took a beating from Finn Balor the week before of just being stomped on and stomped on and stomped on over and over and over, and he's talking about how much he's hurting, and I'm like, can we get a visual aid here? It really helped the story. And I said, well, if they didn't do it here, they still could do it at the event, and lo and behold, they did. I think it made sense. Could have they have put actual tape around him that made it a little bit better? Yeah. They could have actually used the athletic white tape that, we have Riddle put on his ankles around the ribs of Seth. I think that would have been a little better, but fine. He used the, whatever the latest, I don't even know what you call those. Cesaro used to put them all over his body for every match. Whatever that brand or that type of medical tape is. But nonetheless, it did help with the story. We also, guys, interestingly, God, there's so much news. Cole hyped Edge appearing on the Grayson Waller Effect on Friday's SmackDown. So, we're going to learn. I'd imagine he's coming back for SummerSlam. And, guys, we all need to treat this as the last tour for Edge. Not that I think he's not going to die, okay, but I mean, for his career. I think this is the final call for Edge's career. He's hitting SummerSlam. He'll hit maybe Survivor Series and go to Mania and then call it a career at WrestleMania 40. It's a nice round number. He said he's reaching the end of the line. So let's embrace and enjoy Edge while we can, because I think this is truly it. So that said, though, we'll find out who he's going to face at SummerSlam. Maybe it could be Grayson Waller himself. Help build a new star, right? It could be. So we'll find out Friday. All right. Let's see. We got the main event now. The main event. And boy, this was emotional. The pacing of this match was spot on, although at times I think it a little too slow. I'm all for slow pacing, but sometimes it dragged a little. But the match storytelling was brilliant. The in-ring psychology was brilliant. And I know people have also been pointing out that Paul Heyman is carrying around the plate name of Brock Lesnar on the WWE Championship. And my answer to that is I don't think I would read too much into that, because that's the belt he took from Brock at WrestleMania 38. So that's it. I don't think we have to read into it much more than that. Anyway, this was really good. Okay. The head games with each other, the kickouts of finishes, the yelling at each other during the match. It was really good. And the ref bump, I said, oh boy, who's coming out? Who's the new member? I actually maybe even thought Brock would join forces with Roman here out of nowhere. Something wacky to get the victory. And it was a 1D on Reigns, but no referee. And Solo Sikoa played his part very well too. Always does. And a lot of this is awesome chants. A lot of F you Roman chants. Or you still suck. Or was that Logan Paul? I don't know. So the crowd was still all over Reigns throughout this match. And this was just brilliant. I mean, we had Sikoa. Here's the I'm trying to find the finish here. So Roman hit a spear on Jay a couple of times, and Jay kicked out a couple of times. And when we had Roman Reigns stack them, I actually thought that was the finish. I said, oh, yeah, well, that makes sense, right? We've seen it for 3 years now. That's the finish. Nope. And then when Roman hit the spear on Jay, I said, yeah, that's okay. Well, just kind of what you expect, right? And nope, a kick out from Jay. The crowd went crazy. Those were very believable kickouts, or unbelievable kickouts, unexpected kickouts. And that's when I said, oh my God, they could win this match. And lo and behold, not only did they win, but they pinned Roman Reigns. Jay pinned Roman Reigns. That's significant because Roman Reigns, as we all know, hasn't been pinned or submitted since December of 2019 against Baron Corbin. So the crowd went nuts after the Usos won, and rightfully so. And Cole stressed that, Roman is not unbeatable. And I think Jay now has a claim to facing Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, one-on-one for the championship. So I think it most likely is Jay versus Roman for the belt at SummerSlam in 5 weeks. Now, what I would say, just to piss off the crowd, if I were Heyman, or Roman, that, yes, I did lose. But here's the thing. I haven't lost a singles match. I have been pinned or submitted in singles competition in 3 years. You could keep it going by a play on words, by technicalities. So sure. I was pinned last night. So that part of my description of my streak is over. But you know what? I also haven't lost a singles match in singles competition in 3 years. So you could still pull on that, because I believe that's true. He's lost a couple of tag matches. Losing a tag match is actually not something he hasn't done before. He did it on New Year's Eve on SmackDown when he faced John Cena and Kevin Owens. So he lost before. He just wasn't part of the decision. So I figured if Roman was losing here, it wouldn't be part of the decision, but they included him in the decision, which is a very key detail. So that's, to me, leading to a Jey Roman match at SummerSlam. But other than that, I mean, this match, of course, very good. Right around, was it around the 20-minute mark? No, it was more than that. It was like 32 minutes. Oh my God. Half of an Iron Man match. Good God almighty. Guys, overall, I really enjoyed the Money in the Bank event. It felt a little bit like WrestleMania with all the returns, and not just the returns, but also the turns, babyface and heel turns, or turn. I think there was only one, right? And just, it had a vibe. It had a vibe that blew, I think, most people's expectations out of the water. And that's how I felt coming out of a lot of these events over the last year since Triple H has been in charge. Sure, if Vince is in charge or partially in charge, whatever this is, though, I don't care who's in charge of this. I mean, the build hasn't been always the best, but the delivery, the execution has surpassed most people's expectations. I thought this was, from an A+ to an F show, I'd give it an A. A out of an A+ maximum. Just well executed. The effort, the vibe, the crowd, my God, adds so much. So I just don't want people trying to kill themselves. Okay, I don't like Ronda Rousey. I don't like Logan Paul. Doesn't mean I don't want to. I want to see them paralyzed, right? No, but wow, what a pay-per-view! McIntyre's back. Cena being the voice of the voiceless, apparently, for WrestleMania in London. Very unexpected there. We had Io Sky winning the women's Money in the Bank, probably going to cash in against Asuka at SummerSlam. You would imagine that's where they're headed. But overall, guys, really, really good event. And I hope you guys follow us on Twitter. You can find us under the WWE podcast there, or you can go ad-free at patreon.com/WWE podcast, or Apple has an ad-free button. We're running a free 7-day trial over at Patreon. If you're interested, check that out. We also, again, ad-free on my website, WWEpodcast.com, or get our merch, WWEpodcastshop.com. So check it out there. And I really appreciate it, everybody. Boy, we got a lot more to cover with Money in the Bank. You guys have heard from me, but tomorrow night, Anthony DeMarco joins us, which means we're going to have a lot to say in the Money in the Bank event. A lot to say. And we'll pull some things out of our head that I'm sure we didn't expect to, as we always do. We seem to bring the best out in each other. So tomorrow night will be the current state of WWE. Tuesday, we'll bring on a co-host for the Monday Night Raw. Wednesday's your mailbag, and then that'll wrap myself up for the week. But a lot of content between now and then. So thank you, everybody, for listening. I appreciate it. Talk to you next time, and take care.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.